Well, hello everyone. This is Robin Carter, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas. And today I'm here to share my fourth alternate, which will probably be my last alternate video, using the September 2023 Paper Pumpkin Kit with love and gratitude. So if you missed my other three videos, be sure and check those out on my YouTube channel. And I also have many other past Paper Pumpkin videos of alternatives if you still have some kits you needed some extra inspiration for. Before we get started, let me thank those of you who have subscribed to my channel. And thank you to those who have replied that they do want a scan and cut tutorial video of how I use it with Paper Pumpkin. And so that will be my next project to do a video for. So anyway, let's get started. The first one I want to go over with was one I shared on the Paper Pumpkin blog hop, Paper Pumpkin Possibilities. It's a tongue twister, and they're right here. And I store these in a 5x7 little envelope that are part of my favorite things. And my favorite things are just things that Stampin' Up! Does not sell, that I like to use in my craft room to organize things. And so this one is the 7x9. As you can see, I still have a lot more material to work with this kit, but I will go in and make my other alternates that I've already shared using the envelope and such. So anyway, those things are listed in the video description below. My favorite things are. There's many other items as well. So this is the one I wanted to share with you. So I created it two different ways, and this has already been on my blog, so you may have seen this. So here was basically my first design. And so I brought in some, it's retired. However, this die set is in the clearance rack, and it's called the Autumn Bouquet. And as you can see, this big die right here, it cuts out this negative. So what I did was I took this die, and I cut it once this way, and then I flipped it around and cut it that way on the vanilla, very vanilla paper. I thought it gave a great autumn background. Okay, and then looking through past Paper Pumpkin kits. Now this one's an oldie, but this was one of my favorite leaves they ever made with Paper Pumpkin, this big maple leaf. And so it's called Layered Leaves. It is from 2017. But if you have this leaf, it works wonderfully with this kit. It also has this little bitty leaf here that gives some detail. So this one is stamped in copper clay, and then I took a blending brush and added a little copper clay around that flower. This one is in Old Olive. This one is in Crushed Curry, and again in copper clay. And then these were elements in the kit. Now I did use the sentiment from this. I thought it was perfect. It needed a small little sentiment there. So there is what I shared. Now I wanted to make a current one and show you additional ways of how you can use your supply. So back in July, I shared the Chic dies with you, but I pulled those out again because, like I said, that is a set that's good for all season long. These are the Chic dies, and it coordinates with the Season of Chic stamp set. Let me see if I have it. Yes, it's no longer a bundle, but each item is still available for purchase. The Chic dies item number is 158815, and the stamp set is 158810. And so, as you can see here, it has all seasons. It has fall, summer, spring, a little bit of grunge, a snowflake for winter. And so I wanted to bring those in for the fall because I think one of my favorite things about the set are the leaves. So let me show you. So what I did for this is I took this background. I don't know what to call that. It's just a background die cut. Now I cut it out twice, much like I did the Autumn Bouquet, and then I just stuck, because it does completely cut it out. It doesn't just leave a negative. So I stuck those back in their spot, and you don't have to worry about gluing it down completely. You could use adhesive sheets, but I was okay with it lifting up here a little bit and then my leaves are going to help hold them down. So as you can see here, I stamped many leaves from this set. So these two are a 2-step stamp. It gives full, almost full. You can kind of see the detail in it. And then the outline, basically. But also in the die set are just some detailed dies. Let me see if I can show you these. So this one overlays the solid one. Okay, and I have that one pictured, I think, here. Okay, and then this one, notice this one. So it does not go to any stamp in the kit, but I actually used my scan and cut to make a background for that. And so those are some things I'll be showing on my scan and cut video that I share. Okay, so that is what I did there. And then these pumpkins worked beautifully to add a little fall, autumn detail. Okay, can't get that in there. The pumpkins from this kit. So this is another way you can keep using your stamps over and over by adding a few details. All right. Oh, here, I did have this. This is how I cut out the negative. You can kind of see, let me put this behind it. Let me put this behind it, so that you can see the detail that autumn die cut out. And it is still on the clearance rack. If the item number is the same, oops, excuse me, it should be 159837. And I wouldn't imagine that the item number would change. As you can see, this is just a negative that I keep of the stamps so that I can line it up in my stamp positioner. Okay, so this was my card for the Paper Pumpkin Possibilities blog hop that you may have already seen on my blog, but I just wanted to go over it again. And now for my a new alternate to share. So bear with me as I get out all the supplies. So I still have, we have lots of envelopes to use. So I wanted to use some more. And so I made this card. I thought it was pretty easy to do. So rather than having to fussy cut out the eucalyptus stamp from this kit, I wanted to do one where we could just stamp right on a label or a layer. So we didn't have to fussy cut as many ones. Now, again, I have a scan and cut. So I have cut out many. And let me give you a preview. So you can see here I have lots of white pumpkins to stamp. I just cut a whole sheet of them and put them in these. These are the smaller index card size. And so I also have those, as well as the eucalyptus, somewhere floating around my craft room. Here they are. See, I stamped all these last night. So I did some in white and some in very vanilla. And so these are good to use for my previous alternates. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to do one for those of you who aren't interested in a scan and cut and wanted to use this kit without a lot of detail. So this one's pretty easy. So we have our very vanilla card base. This is the thick, very vanilla. And then I took a piece of Lost Lagoon cardstock that measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Now, the reason I do that, I do like a little bit of my card base to show, and that's just my preference. If you want to cover the whole thing, that's fine. This one, I use the Exposed Brick 3D embossing folder, and I apologize for not having those on my desk, but I've used this in my previous videos with the item numbers of that as well. Okay, so this one was embossed with the Fern 3D embossing folder, and I really like this embossing folder for this kit. So I'm not going to put it on there yet. I did get some sticky on it, and then so we'll just keep using that one until I'm done. Okay, so I did cut open the envelopes, and I've shared how I did this, as well as how I get off the sticky part of the envelope. See, the glue is gone there. So if you've missed that, you can check those out in my previous videos. So I did that. I cut open the envelope, and then I wanted a piece that was 5 3/8 inches long. And this is about this one's a little more. This one's a little over 375, almost 2. But you can, depending on how much you trim off the side to make it flat, will be how big you can make your sides. Now, if you just want to do one of my first alternates, where you take off like 5/8 of an inch, then you'll have this big piece left to do. So that's another way you can get a big piece. Or it'll just be a little bit smaller, which it'll be the same effect. All right, so I do a cheat when I want to put a border. I end up with a whole bunch of these thin little strips. They're usually 11 inches long, especially when I make layers for cards. So, you know, it's 8.5. So if I do 2 at 4, I'll have half an or a quarter of an inch, half an inch left. And so I want to put these to use. So what I do is I just glue them right on here. And it's okay that they're big. They're too long. I like that on purpose. So I just take the 11, cut it in half somewhere. And then I'm going to get out my adhesive. And this is my Tombow multi-purpose glue, which is my favorite to use. And so I'm going to put a little on the edge of the envelope. Now again, with this envelope paper, you want to be sparing because glue is a liquid. So you don't want it to get too wet. All right, so then you can decide how much border you want. And you can use your grid paper to kind of see if you have it straight or not. Okay, so that looks pretty even right there. All right, now I'm going to do the other side. I also use these for labels too, but today I wanted to use them as a border. All right, so now you do the other side. And again, you want to I just eye it. I don't measure it. Do I have equal spacing as far as a border or a layer? So that's just a cheat. You can use a whole sheet, but like I said, I have a bunch of these laying around and I wanted to put them to use. Okay, so there we have that. Now I'm going to trim off, after this dries just a little bit more, I'm going to trim off the excess that's hanging over. But in the meantime, let's get out our die. Now this is from one of my favorite die sets. It's from the Scalloped Contour dies. And this one is actually the third one. So not this one, but the third largest die. Okay. So I just cut it in Berry Vanilla, and the contour dies item number is 155560. So this is a must-have, I think, for labels. It just goes with anything. All right, now I still have my eucalyptus stamp in my Stamparatus, which this is a stamp positioning tool that Stampin' Up! Was no longer able to carry for some legal issues. But it's still my favorite. So this is the one I'm going to continue to use. And we will go from there. So I could take this off and just freehand it. But I have this lined up for all my little cut pieces. So I'm going to see if I can just stamp it in here. All right. So I can eye where it's going to go. That looks pretty good. I may put it up a little bit more. And this one was more in the corner. So let's see. I'm looking at the one I did and trying to replicate it best I can. All right, that's going to be good. All right, so I have it where I want it. I'm going to get some washi tape. It should be somewhere around here. You know what? I'm just going to use the magnet. I don't see washi tape on my desk, which is something. Here's a scrap of some. Not very sticky, but maybe it'll help. Okay, so we're going to ink this up with Lost Lagoon and stamp this. I find sometimes with these spots it helps to press and twist. I don't know why it does, but just press and twist. Oops, And if you're having trouble inking these, you can always stamp it with a Versamark. It's going to get right on there. And then we'll see how this is going to work with that template underneath. I may have to do this one twice. Yes, I do. That's terrible. I should have pre-stamped this. Okay, for some reason, that right there was not inking up well. Get this tape out of the way. So that's the beauty of your stamp positioning tool, is you can stamp it again. Now, when we finish this, it's going to be really dark. It will lighten up as it dries. Good gracious. That one just does not want to go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here is our eucalyptus. It will be darker than that one because we stamped it twice, but I'm still going to like it. It will lighten up a little bit. We're going to go with that. Like I said, normally I would have taken that out of the Stamparatus and probably just free-handed it. But the good thing was I was able to re-stamp it if it didn't get everything, which it did not. Okay, so to give it a more realistic look, I took my copper clay Stampin' Right marker. And this is sold as a set with the in colors from this year. And I'm sorry I don't have the box out. I take them out and store them in my Stampin' Storage ink tool. But it's for the 23-25 in color markers. So you can still get these. Anyway, I go right over where the stems are. And this copper clay hides the Lost Lagoon. It looks more like a stem. So let me just go through all these really quick. Okay, I think that got them all. So now rather than Lost Lagoon stems, we have a brown copper stem of the eucalyptus. All right, so this should be dry now. So let's trim off the edges of this. Let me get my snips. So again, I just line it up right there with my paper snips. You can even go off the back because I'm right-handed. And now it's even. So the next thing is, does it equal my layer here? And it does. Okay, so I'm going to adhere this to the left-hand side of my card front. I think I'm going to start putting on, when I have a whole card front, I'm going to put it on a card base last because I tend to forget ribbon, or I accidentally get the card base in my ink and have a mess. So if I have a card base front, kind of like we're doing here, now I could have gotten out my T-ruler. We'll see how good I did. It might be too late to move it. To make sure this is straight. So my T-ruler is one of my favorite things. I have it upside down. I did really good eyeballing that, so that's good. If you're a perfectionist, you can get you a T-ruler and then you'll be good to go. All right, so here's our card again. Now this ribbon that I'm going to use is also, last time I checked, still on the clearance rack. And it's a beautiful, natural, cottony feel, easy to work with. It is fat, but as I shared in one video, if you want it smaller, you can just take some tear and tape and tape it together like that for a smaller one. But I wanted to use the whole border. So when I want to do this, I just cut off a section. Now, another cheat you could do is you could just cut off a little bit here and a little bit there, but I'm fine using this whole thing. Let's see if those are still sharp. That's good. All right, now to get this in the middle, I'm going to use my grid sheet again. So when you put this here, I like that it has a 0. And so I'm going to put that right. Actually, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to show you why. Because I'm going to put some tear and tape. Now, we've had tear and tape in our kits a lot lately, so hopefully you still have some left. All right, I'm going to put some there, right in the middle. the big piece, right here. And then with a pencil or something, of course I have no pencil, I can use a pen because it's the back. You can mark, okay, this is a 1/2 inch. There's a 1/2 inch. I didn't have to flip it around, but I did. Okay, this will be easier to, I left more room. This is, so that way when you peel this off, you can get your ribbon right in the center. So again, I'm going to start it from the back first. Bring it around. And there's my 2 pin marks. So I know that should be centered. And there we go. I don't think it's crooked. So anyway, there we go with that. So here I have a very vanilla card base. And now we can put this on it. So again, when you make your own card bases, feel to see which one it picks up first. Like here I'm getting the top. So this will be the front of my card. And I'm going to bring in my Tombow multi-purpose glue again. Got the cutoff stuck to that. And I actually like that this one was larger, the tear and tape, because it'll help adhere this to the card around the ribbon. This one might need a glue dot stuck in there later. We're going to, whoop, I've got that going the wrong way. I want this on the left-hand side. I get sharing tips and I forget all about my design of my card. Okay, so there that is. So this is already lightening up a little bit. Now on this one, I put some grunge spray on it, but it's an item that Stampin' Up! Used to carry it. It's this little spray tool. Okay, it's this little spritzer. And you put your marker in there and you can spray. Now you can take markers and flip the tip. I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to ruin my fine tips of my markers. So I'm just going to leave this one plain, not splatter, as another alternate. So let me get in my dimensionals. All right, I'm still using these dimensionals, and I will even use the edge. This is from an old paper pumpkin kit. These were stiff. All right, let me snip off some of the edges. Again, use the whole thing of your dimensionals, not just the insides. I'm sure most of you do that anyway. And one more on the other side. Okay, so let's take this off. So how are you guys liking this kit? You know, our next, by the way, speaking of these kits, today is what, October 3rd? So only a few more days till October 10th, which is the deadline to subscribe for the October Paper Pumpkin, which details more about it can be found on my blog site. At the bottom of the post, I tell, it says what it's included in it. And it's going to be holiday themed, of course. And that kit will also coordinate with the November kit, if you didn't know that. So, all right, there is our eucalyptus on there. Now, I wanted to add some greenery, although it's in vanilla. Here's an extra in case I messed up. But this is from the Splendid Stems dies, which last I checked was still on the clearance rack. And I've used that in several of my alternates because it's a great value. These dies I think are like $8.25. The real name is Splendid Stems. And the item number is 159676. Now it also coordinates with the Splendid Thoughts stamp set, which last I checked this was even on the clearance rack. And the item number for the stamp set is 159668. So, and as you can see there, it almost looks like our little eucalyptus stamp. So I thought I'd point that out. So those are a great value if you need some extra greenery like this. So let me get my Tombow glue again. And I'm just going to put some here on this end of the stem and tuck it in. I probably should have stuck that kind of before my dimensional because my dimensional is getting in the way a little bit. But I'll just work it in there. All right, so then he can go there, and I'm not worried about him poking up. I like that. All right, and then we need a label. Now, I thought of something else that I thought looked kind of nice. So I die cut a circle out of one of the gift packages that were in this kit. I cut one open, and I thought that looked kind of nice to separate it from that. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment on this. And this was cut with the Stylish Shapes dies, which are very basic. Well, basic but stitched. And I'm all about the stitching. I love it. It's great detail. So it has circles, squares, and some banners. So this is a great basic set to have in your collection as well. And I didn't share the item number 159183. So you can check that out. Now I'm going to use my sentiment from my new favorite stamp set in the mini, which I don't think I have it out. I just have the stamp because it's one of my favorites. It's called So Sincere, and it's in the mini catalog. You can also look it up. I have a zillion things on my desk, and of course the one I'm looking for I can't find. But anyway, it's called So Sincere. It has great sentiments. And if you are just a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, sentiment stamps would be a great thing to add to your collection because it'll give you many more sentiments to use on your cards. Now this one is a cling stamp, so it already has the cushion, so I don't need the foam mat when I do my stamping. And I am going to do it in Lost Lagoon. So I only have one of these cut, so I get one shot at that. Now, if you have trouble putting your stickers on your stamp sets, I also have a video that I made long ago of an easy way to do that, so you can check that out. Now, you want to ink these lightly. As you can see, I'm just kind of setting it on the stamp pad. You don't want to mush, okay? Same thing when you go to stamp. You don't want to mush. You just want to set it down and give it a little press. And I'm not sure how well the envelope's going to take ink, so I'm going to let it sit there a minute. All right, let me see, because I didn't do this in my stamp positioning tool. Oh, that's real good. Okay. All right, so that's kind of light on there, but it's okay. I think we can still read it. So what do you think of that label, using the linen versus the standard vanilla? I think it really kind of goes with the ribbon because it has a linen texture and this has a linen texture. So that was a nice little surprise that I thought I would try. So let me get some more dimensionals. And so the reason I need dimensionals is you kind of need it to support the edge there. And I set them somewhere and they have gone missing. This is always, here they are. My little tub. I keep this. This was a case that our wood stamps used to come in. And I kept those and they work well because I did convert all my wood ones to a cling mount. And I think I also have a video on how I did that. So it took up a whole lot less room. All right, so I did put a little adhesive there because when I set this here, I want it to adhere. Oh, I didn't take my dimensional backing off. I was like, why is it still gliding? Okay, so there is our sentiment using the linen treat bag. Now I'm going to show again how to use these enamel effects. So this is the metallic enamel effects basics. And the item number for it is 161610, and it has a gold, a copper, and a silver. So you're going to have embellishments for days with this simple little pack. So all you want to do is open it. You're going to want to squeeze just a little. I think I did too many on that one. I'm going to do less on this one. So just kind of wherever you want. Let's see, we want an odd number. So let's do 2 up. Let's do 1 here. Okay, so after you squeeze, it helps to flatten any bump you have. Is either flick the back of it with your finger, or you can tap it on the end of your desk. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. And it helps to flatten out or on your hand. You can see that one really flattened. So now I'm going to flip it around. And those are more flat. So that's just a little tip on using these. Now you will need to set this card aside and let it dry. I preferably let it dry overnight. I've messed up several of them. Now this one, of course, I set something on it and I was able to pluck it off. I have a little bit of left on this side, but with all the grunge, I thought it was fine. So I'm going to set this one aside so I don't mess it up. All right, so that is my last alternate that I believe I'm going to share, because then I want to get busy working on my scan and cut video, and this is going to be interesting. So if you're looking for that, you can go ahead and download Brother Canvas. It's called Canvas Workspace, because that's how I use it. So if you don't already have the Brother Canvas Workspace website and a login, then you may want to go ahead and do that. I don't use the app. I have much better success just using their web account. I have used their app occasionally, but I know more how to use it straight from their website. So let me know what you think about these alternates. Again, these were from my Paper Pumpkin Possibilities. So this uses mainly the Chic dies plus the pumpkins. And then this one has the autumn bouquet that's still on the clearance rack. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed all these alternates for this month, and I look forward to seeing what next month has to offer. So thanks again for watching, everyone. Again, if you are not subscribed to my channel, I truly would appreciate your subscription. Thank you for watching, and until my next video, have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.